Cobra Kai Season 5 is out on Netflix, and I'm very excited to give you guys my review for this show. If you've seen it, be sure to leave a comment what you thought about this season. As well, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Now let's get into this review. So this is going to be a non-spoiler review, just in case there's people who haven't watched any episodes yet or just haven't finished the whole run of the show. So it'll be spoiler free, so do not worry about that. As for myself, I binged the whole show this whole season on Friday and was too busy on Saturday to do my review. Sunday, I was feeling a little sick. Monday, I was going to do my review, but my camera battery was dead when I sat down to do my review. So you guys are getting my review now, but better late than never. So Cobra Kai is one of my most favorite shows running right now. I absolutely love it. Previous 4 seasons I thought have all been great, and season 5 for me was another great season. I'm so happy this show so far is 5 for 5 for me, and you'll see just how much I love this show when I say my score for this season, because I love this season. But right now I feel if I was to rank all 5 seasons, this would be number 4. So I have a few issues with it, but overall I love it. I love the way they continue the story from the previous season. The addition of Chosen in this season I thought was amazing. To me, he was definitely the standout. He stole the show. He was both hilarious and a badass in this. It was amazing. Terry Silver was a very good villain in this. He felt like the Emperor from Star Wars in this show, like the equivalent. He was kind of over the top, but in a way that fits the show, because this show's kind of always been over the top, a little corny, but that's part of the charm of the show. So I thought Terry Silver was very good in this. And again, all the cast does a really good job. Everybody fits their roles. I thought it was kind of nice. They sort of pulled back on the teenage drama more in this season. It's still there, but it's not quite as front and center as some of the previous seasons, especially season 2 I thought had it the most. And this, it's there, but it's not done as much. The fight scenes for the most part are again very good. The choreography is great. There are a few fight scenes where it felt like they filmed it in a different way and it didn't quite work as well for me, but for the most part they were very good. There was a fight scene at the very end in the final episode. Actually, there was a couple fight scenes that I wanted to cheer when I was watching it, but I'm in my dorm room at university and I was watching it at midnight, so I kept quiet so I didn't wake anybody up. One thing that I'm going to talk a little bit about that might be a spoiler if you know absolutely nothing about this season is a character that shows up, but there's photos that were released that are like good quality photos that were released that have this character, so it's out there. It's not really a spoiler, but if you know absolutely nothing, it will be a spoiler for you. But in this season, they bring back the character Mike Barnes, and I won't say how he's used or how much he's in this show, but I thought his inclusion was great. I enjoyed every moment he was there, and I'd be happy if he comes back for season 6. I'm not sure if he will, but I enjoyed seeing him back. I thought they used him very well in this season. One thing that I really loved about this season is the character interactions and character developments. The show has always had really good interactions and developments with its characters, but this season in particular, I thought did some very great stuff. Like the stuff with Daniel and Johnny, I loved. Daniel and Chosen, I loved. Chosen and Johnny, I loved. There's some great interactions with the characters and furthering their character arcs, which I just really loved. You get a bit more of a Chosen. Johnny's is continued. He's probably had the best character arc of the entire season, or series, my bad. In this one, they continue that. I love it. What they do with Miguel and Robbie, I loved how they handled it. I thought was great. And it continued again. There's character arcs at the start. Miguel, if you saw season 4, you know he went to Mexico to look for his dad. That, for the most part, I thought was good. The way he found his dad, I thought was a little convenient, a little too easy. And you could say that whole situation with his dad was a little cliche with how you'd imagine something like that would go. It does play it pretty run in the mill of other storylines like that, but for the most part I thought it worked for the character arc of that character. And also leads to some really great scenes with Johnny and Robbie, which was amazing because, you know, they've not had a great relationship throughout the series. But in this season, they're really able to work on that, and I thought it was great. It's kind of funny for me. Season 5 managed to be both maybe the goofiest season, but also the darkest. Like, there's something you see in the final episode during one of the big fights. I won't say what it was, but when I saw it, I was like, oh, never saw something like that in this show before. But it was also the goofiest, especially with some stuff with Terry Silver, and for the most part I could buy into it, but there were just certain things that just sort of were just a bit too much for me, and I hope they pull in the reins a bit more for season 6. So that did bother me a bit. The first few episodes I still really liked, but they weren't quite as strong as maybe the later half of the season. But for the most part, it was really good. And I had already mentioned the storyline with Miguel and his father. That lasted about 2 episodes. So I was expecting it to last more, because I thought it was going to be more important for that character, and it was. I was just expecting it to be more, maybe not quite as rushed as it felt. Like I said, the way he found his father felt very convenient, so it made it feel a little rushed. There's some stuff at the start also with Daniel and Chosen that were just like, okay, going just a little too far for what I can buy into, but for the most part it was alright. Like I said, the second half of the season got more, for the most part, like I could buy into it. Again, some of the stuff with Terry Silver was really over the top, but that character's kind of always been over the top, so for the most part I could buy into it. And like all the other seasons before this one, the final episode has a hook that gets you interested and sort of guessing where the next season's going to go. And this season has that, but I thought it was the weakest one so far. It has its hook of what's going to happen, but when I think about it, I'm like, I don't see how they're going to get a full season out of that. Like, I'm sure there's stuff that's going to happen that I have no idea about, but just based on this thing that they end with, it was like, okay. Just like in my mind, the way I see it, it's like this is going to feel like, it may feel like very off compared to the rest of the show, which I'm a little nervous about. And there was something else that they had set up before the final episode that was to do with a karate tournament. And when that was set up, I was like, okay, that's going to be the end of season 6, maybe the end of the show. But the way this season ends, I'm like, are they still doing that? If you've seen the end of the show, you probably understand what I mean. It's like, I'm not sure if they're still doing that. And then the other thing that where they've got that hook to get you interested in the next season, again, it's like, okay, kind of interesting, but the way my mind's imagining it, it's going to feel very off compared to the rest of the show, and I just don't see how they're getting a full season out of it. But like I said, I'm sure they got other stuff planned that I just don't know about, because the writers, after I think season 3, they said they like always had 6 seasons planned out, and they're 5 for 5, so I trust them. And if that's true that they had 6 seasons planned out, then I hope season 6 is the last season of Cobra Kai, and that they're not just going to keep milking this series for more money. I hope they can end it on a high note. Season 5 for me was another great season. Again, I think season 1, 3, and 4 were better for me, but I still love this show, this season. I thought it was great. For me, I'm going to give season 5 of Cobra Kai a 91%. So obviously, I love this show if my second least favorite season has a 91%. So guys, let me know what you thought of this season, and what do you think of Cobra Kai, the show overall. As well, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And stay tuned for some of my upcoming reviews. And until my next video, take care everybody.